Hi guys and welcome again to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about natural gas swing trading basis in this video. Mostly I'm gonna focus on trading leveraged ETFs such as BOIL, BOIL and KOLD, KOLD. These are leveraged ETFs where you can make a lot of money when you know exactly how to trade these ETFs. When it actually comes to trading natural gas, some traders turn their positions to companies such as BP, Royal Dutch Shell, or the largest Russian natural gas producer, which is actually the biggest one in the world, Gazprom. I'm gonna mostly focus just on trading my new popular ETFs when it comes to natural gas, which is BOIL and KOLD. We're gonna talk about the basics of natural gas, seasonality, how you can benefit from it. At the end of this video, I'm actually gonna show you a step-by-step guide how I enter natural gas ETF position in boil or cold and how you can do the same. Right now, as of July 2021, natural gas is kind of overpriced, so I think it might be a good time to learn how to swing trade and then you can enter positions in one of these ETFs. So what do you actually need to know about natural gas? So usually the prices tend to correlate with the supply and demand inventories of this commodity. Natural gas, it's I think the fourth biggest and most used commodity in the US. So if you want to be a good trader, you also have to know like what exactly affects the supply and demand. So basically the price of natural gas. Here are four things that usually tend to correlate with natural gas prices. So the first one is weather. Extreme or abnormal weather conditions can push and pull on the supply and demand forces. Also, when it comes to weather forecasting, this usually tends to affect the prices by a lot in natural gas. Storage, that's the second most important thing. We're gonna also talk about how you can actually measure the storage. Each state, especially in the US, has like some storage places where they store natural gas and it is actually measured on weekly basis. This will also affect the price of natural gas. When actually there's like a surplus in storage, so if there's more and more natural gas in the storage system, this usually tends to affect prices negatively. This means that more natural gas in storage will actually decrease the price of natural gas. Another one is alternatives. Some economies usually turn to, like eco-friendly sources of energies. I wouldn't say that these affect a lot natural gas, maybe like in a very long term, but not when I'm actually trading. And also the last one is economic growth. So if there's like a huge economic growth, especially in nations and states, which actually use natural gas, probably the price will actually rise because there will be more demand. Okay, so let's take a look at natural gas seasonality graph. If you don't know like what seasonality is and how it actually affects prices, go and check out my other video on trading seasonality. But basically it means that some months or some times of the year seem to affect especially like commodities by quite a lot. For natural gas, usually July, August, and let's say like December. Usually natural gas is affected by seasonality. So as you can see in April and August, it usually tends to go higher. This number means that how much it actually gained in the month of April on average. This data is from 2017 and 2021. So for 21 we don't have like data for August, September, October and so on. So it's data for 5 years for nat gas. Based on the graph you can see that the best time when actually nat gas prices rise is April. Out of last 5 months of April, there's 80% chance that it actually went higher. So I believe that only one time in the past 5 years In the month of April, natural gas started the 1st of April lower than when it actually ended on the last day of April. The average gain is 6.4%, and the same applies to August, where you can see that in the past 5 years actually 100% of the time natural gas started on the 1st of August lower than when it ended on the last day of August, and the average gain was 15.5%. On the other hand, you can see that for the month of December, it's not a good time to be in natural gas, because in the last 5 years it always ended up lower, and the average loss was around 14% almost. So this is a seasonality graph. It can tell you a lot, like when you should enter a trade. Probably you can even enter the trade sooner than when you detect the month that it's gonna be a good time to buy, and you can make a ton of money. So as we have already talked about, natural gas inventory and storage tend to affect prices by a lot. There's a weekly natural gas storage report. It is reported and published by US Energy Information Administration. A weekly report always is released on Thursday, so it's 4:30 p.m. CET time or 10:30 a.m. ET time. This is the link where you can actually find the report and when it's published, or just make sure to follow another website. You can also find forecasts for releasing this report, like what it's gonna be like. Especially when it's different from the forecast, the price will move quite a lot. So if there's more nat gas in storage, that means the nat gas or like my ETFs will go down, and less nat gas or less natural gas in storage means that it will go up because the supply will be higher. So this is the report from the last week, I believe. So you can see that actually the net change in billion cubic feet went higher. So actually we detected that there was actually more natural gas in storage than in the previous week. So this means that the price should go lower. When it was actually released, the stock I was trading, or the ETF KOLD, it went high by a bit, like 2%, and then it went down by quite a lot. As I already mentioned, in July 2021, natural gas seems to be pretty overvalued, so make sure to follow this video and maybe you can enter trade in pretty soon, and maybe we can both make a lot of money. So natural gas prices move in a recurring pattern, which can be seen as cyclical in its disposition. This is basically a seasonality of nat gas, just like a seasonality of gold. Much of this actually happened due to weather reports and forecasts. So if we know that the winter is gonna be much, let's say, warmer than the previous year, we will probably not use as much natural gas as we would normally do. So this will negatively affect the price. Prices of natural gas usually are higher in winter, so December till February, and the summer period, so July, August, while the remaining months generally reflect in lower prices due to slighter weather forecasts. These price movements in natural gas tend to repeat each year, so when you know when you should enter a trade and how to make some money, especially trading nat gas, you might make a lot of money. As you can see right now, RSI of natural gas is reaching almost 80 level, which means that it is really overvalued. But before you enter a trade, you really need to be careful, because you can know it can still move a lot higher. There's not really any resistance level on this chart, maybe up over here, so it's almost at $5. So right now it's trading at around $4. When you are trading natural gas, always make sure to actually follow the nat gas index, as I did in my previous chart, because it's the actual natural gas contract price, and it's much more precise than when you're trading leveraged ETFs such as BOIL or KOLD, KOLD, because they tend to be affected by time decay. So BOIL, if you want to go long and if you believe that the price of natural gas is gonna go higher, then you should trade BOIL, BOIL, leveraged ETFs based on data provided in the last 5 years and the seasonality chart. You can see that August, October are the best months to actually buy these leveraged ETFs, and January, February is usually the worst month. So you can see that in August, 75% of the last months of August were actually very positive, and the average gain was around 21%. The same applies to October, but on the other hand, like January, February, you can see that usually it lost almost 12% in the month of January and February in the last 5 years. And only 20% of the months of February actually ended higher than when they actually started on the 1st of February. KOLD on the other hand should be the exact opposite. So when BOIL is always negative, as you can see in December, KOLD will be always positive, or at least it should be. So you can see the best month for KOLD is actually December. 30% is the average gain. The worst month is August. And yeah, you can see almost also the other months. So January, February tend to be pretty positive for KOLD. In this case, we're gonna talk about KOLD because I have already entered the trade. I'm owning 500 shares of KOLD, which is trading at $17.3 right now. So before I enter the trade, my strategy consists of following RSI levels. When it's below 30, that means that the stock is undervalued, and then that's the best time actually when you should buy the stock. So for example, in this example, you can see that the RSI was almost approaching level 10, which is really unusual, but you can see that the gains in the next 2 years were incredible, and it pretty much went from $10 to $90, so you could make 9 times of your money. Right now it's a very similar situation, even though it's still trading at around $17.3. The RSI level is around 24. You can see that it can still go a bit lower, so you make sure that you are very careful and you know how to trade and what you are doing. When I am entering the KOLD trade and I'm trading this leveraged ETF, I only use around 10% of my portfolio max at one time, and I'll be probably increasing my position 5 times until I reach around 50% of my portfolio, because it's really volatile and can be a bit dangerous. Also make sure that the NatGas price is also below 30, not just cold, because they are not always the same, but NatGas continuous contract, which you can actually find on any stock charting system such as stockcharts.com. You can see that the price is a bit different, and even the chart can be a bit different, so make sure you're following this. And over here you can see that the RSI is actually above 80, so that means that it's a good time to enter the trade because natural gas is overvalued. KOLD on the other hand is the opposite of NatGas, because I'll be actually entering a trade when I'll be shorting natural gas, and I'll be making money when natural gas goes when the price goes lower. Yeah, and I usually put a stop loss of around 20% of my whole portfolio, so I still have a lot of room when I'll be entering this trade. I do not expect it to fall all the way to, let's say, $10, but if it does, it won't be that bad for me. As I said, right now I own only 500 shares, and I'll be probably purchasing 2000 more shares in the weeks ahead. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope this video was a bit helpful. Hope you learned something new. Make sure to like the video, give it thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe. And once again, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out also my other trading videos. See you in the next video, and yeah, happy trading.